for everyone in the industry. This is a business of perseverance. So you're saying no to things, or we don't have your number, or your agent doesn't have your telephone number or your email address. Well, how are you expecting to book work? Is it smoke signals? It really doesn't work that way. Hello, it's Adam, CEO and Managing Director of Bubblegum Casting and Hunter Talent. So you've been asking questions and I have the answers for you, or at least I have some of the answers for you. Now, a question that we keep getting asked is around how to optimize opportunity. Now, this is a question that comes up a lot, and I kind of want to give a similar or comparable answer to the one that I've given before, because I feel that maybe it's a lesson worth learning. So the first thing is to show up to opportunities. Now, believe it or not, that's actually not as easy as you might think in terms of our agency. There are people who generate auditions and they don't go to those auditions. There are people who get disillusioned and then they sort of stop responding to us when we actually are generating them opportunities. And this is really frustrating for us because obviously we're continuing to work for people. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples of things that we've sort of seen lately that are, I guess frustrating for us, but also important to note as lessons, So we've had talent, who've moved, states, and we're putting them up for jobs in Melbourne when they've actually moved to Sydney and things of that nature. And it's like, well, if you don't tell us that you've moved, we're putting you up for the wrong opportunities. So that's the first one. So be communicative. The second one is that, obviously during the school holidays, for example, or the summer break for adults, this is a time where, we see so many people who are non-responsive to auditions and job requests. So, we'll have people who are requested to do a shoot. They don't even have to cast because maybe they've got a track record with a client or it's a modeling gig and they've worked with that client before. And then we're calling them repeatedly to try and get onto that person to book the work. And, then they're like, oh, sorry, I've gone on holiday, or sorry, I forgot to tell you that I'm away. So being available to the opportunities, or again, communicating with the agents, is really vitally critical in terms of your success. Because obviously if we don't know, then, we're not going to, we're putting you up for the wrong things. And in some cases we're then chasing you for a job and you're not available and someone else could have done that job. So that's also, that's a frustration. And it's obviously then, you're missing out on it and someone else is missing out on it in those examples. Now, this is one of those ones. And also, finally sort of like, you really have to keep persevering. So just because you haven't been successful now, you haven't heard from us for a while, doesn't mean that when we finally do email you and contact you, that you should ignore it or anything of that nature. Like, we have so many opportunities coming through all the time in our firm. And, you should know that like if your agent's contacting you, they're doing so for a reason. So make it easy for them to contact you. So if you change your telephone number, tell your agent. If you change your email address, tell your agent. If you move, tell your agent. If you're doing something, like you've built an additional skill, or you've done some other work outside of the agency that we can put on your resume, tell your agent. It makes our lives significantly easier. Now, I've said this one before, but the other thing that I sort of want to flag in terms of improving your opportunities is, there's lots of things, but that's one. But the other thing is around saying yes. Now, this is something that is really misunderstood. People will come to the firm and they're looking for modeling opportunities. And sometimes they have unrealistic expectations of what that starts out with. Now, obviously there are high fashion brands. Our agency doesn't work on those, but this is an example, there are people who don't want to do Kmart and Target, but they don't really have any experience. But what's wrong with Kmart and Target if you don't have any experience? So be open to the opportunities available to you. If you're being requested for that brand, do the job, get the practice. In terms of acting and other things like that, some people will say, oh, they don't want to do television commercials. And that's fine, except that, often the people who are casting for television and film are also casting for TV commercials. So if you are saying no to you're basically saying no to television commercials, you're also saying no to potential opportunities to meet with the major players in the industry who can actually cast you in TV and film later. So it's really, really important that you actually understand that saying yes to every opportunity where possible is really going to improve your chances quite significantly. So really, really important that you understand that. Now, I do know that people get busy and things of that nature, but people come to us all the time like, oh, how can I improve my opportunities? Well, saying yes to the opportunities that are being offered That's a huge one. People do say no to really good opportunities quite regularly in our firm, and it is frustrating for the agents. Now, the second thing is also around being communicative, making sure that the agents are aware and know what's going on in terms of that stuff. And that's probably a really other thing as well in terms of improving your chances. Now, I'll obviously provide many, many more of these as we go, but this is one I kind of wanted to reiterate because I think that I made this video last year, did really, really well. But I think I need to reiterate this point, not just for our talent, but for everyone in the industry. This is a business of perseverance. So you're saying no to things, or we don't have your number, or your agent doesn't have your telephone number or your email address. Well, how are you expecting to book work? Is it smoke signals? It really doesn't work that way. So that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments, or send them in to us, and we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you so much. See you later.